Marcus here. All right, so we're gonna be working together for all this month. So let's try to have a good time, right? I did receive your two scenes, one running, one walking. One is better than the other. Let's take a look at them. First, let's take a look at a run. I think run is done better than a walk. Walk has more problems. Okay, so what we have here is, it would be nice actually if you send me some kind of ground that we can see that he is walking on something, because right now it looks like he is in a space walking on the air. So that's hard, harder to get that reality of actually having him like walking on the solid surface, because there is nothing under him. So if he would have something here, it would be much better, because right now is this on the ground or not? Well, you cannot tell because he's in a space. So let's take a look at actually of him running. It's not bad. There is some movement in the head, left and right, some kind of jerking, and I would definitely fix that. There is no reason for him to have that movement in the head. He should be, focused, and he should be looking forward. There is no need for zigzagging with his head. Okay, so let's go take a look at a frame by frame. So the pose by pose. This, I would say, is a contact pose, right? So this is a ground here. Then he goes down. That's good. I might actually on down pose, I might leave this arm here. So that way I would create overlap. So my arm, his arm, right, would go from here, there, and then you see it would create this before going down. Now, okay. Well, as I'm going through these poses, I think that there might be something with spacing of it. I think maybe spacing could be better, because look at the spacing between this arm and that arm. It's kind of big space, and that means it's gonna go fast here, and that's what we need here, because this is in the middle of the pendulum, right? If the arm swings from one side, let's say that's a back, and swings forward, this area is supposed to go the fastest, right? The big spacing should be here, and then at the every end should slow in before it changes direction and goes back. So I would say this from here to there is fine, but then we have a little bit from here to there. See how big that is? So after this big jump from here, it goes small, and then from here again goes big. So this is like a pendulum where you have a big gap here, and then it would make small one here, and then it would make a big one again here. So why slowing down in this middle area? It should slow down towards the end, just like on the other side towards the end. So this spacing is not okay. It has to be, this big spacing, and then if you have it here, but this one is definitely too close to this one, so it has to be there, and then, right? Something like this. You have to think of slow in, slow out, slow in, slow out, right? So again, after you know, coming from here, there, there, and then maybe this one. You see how these two are close also. So maybe this one should be still somewhere here, coming from here, and then there, and then as it comes down in a down position to create maybe another overlap on the hand, maybe you can kind of stretch it so this part of the arm is going as you have it, but this one stretches a bit before going forward here. So maybe this one is here too forward. Maybe it should be somewhere here. Maybe here, maybe there, and then from here it comes to there, and then there, something like that. So try to create overlap on the hand, on the other one too, the same thing, right? So as he goes to contact, now as he goes down, this thing is still lingering here, so it's like this. And then goes on the other side. You can also maybe push these poses a little bit more, because if you're looking for, if you have some reference, live action reference, that's fine, you should have it actually. But there is one principle of animation out of those 12, and it's called exaggeration. So we have to push our poses more than they are in live action, and it would look probably better if, you know, if you work a little bit with also with the controls on the spine, because right now I don't think you are really using controls of the spine much, and you should. So in down pose I would push him lower, I would squish him more, and I would also bend him so it's going to be more dynamic run, you know, something like that. And then when he goes up, this is up pose before going down. You see, if this is up pose, how come is barely, I mean, actually it's on the same place as a contact. Up pose should be, well, higher. So why don't you go with this pose a little bit higher? Select everything, move higher, and you know, you can make those legs a little bit more maybe stretched, so it's gonna look more, again, dynamic. Otherwise it looks, without it, he looks very, well, just ordinary, you know. And do we want ordinary? No. And as you can see, he's very stiff in his upper part. When you are animating him, use, of course, the hips, rotate hips, and rotate his chest, right? And also be careful of weight shift. And I'm gonna talk actually about it more on your walk. So I think this is all what I have to say about your walk. Just continue pressing it and working on it. All right, so let's move to your walk. This is what we got as a walk, and I don't know if you noticed something, but there is something obviously wrong. You see how he's clicking, kind of? There is no smooth. I understand that this is a blocking and this is a step mode. There is no in-betweens, but he still is kind of clicking. Why is that happening is because this is, I would assume, contact pose, and then he goes down. Look, he goes down and he's supposed to walk on the same place. This is like a cycle, right? Walk cycle, as you call it, treadmill. Well, try to stand on the same place on the treadmill while treadmill is working. As you step here, the very split second after that, your foot will be here. And if you don't lift it, you're going to go down because it's rotating all the time. Now let's imagine that this is on the flat, right? Flat surface. Our character is walking, and if this is a contact, right? We're in next pose. Next pose would be down pose. Cannot be here. Down pose cannot be here because this is moving, right? So down pose will be somewhere here. It's going to be flat. It's going to be down because we call it down pose, and it should be also, you know, spine should be worked a little bit. I wouldn't go with the head forward. It go more, you know, with the head kind of like up and down, but just curve this spine a bit so we get some flexibility into it. And then, of course, those toes that are here now, they will be maybe up like that. That would be down pose. And then, of course, now the passing pose will be here, and that would become supporting leg, and it will be higher, although not the highest. This in passing pose, the character is in actually normal height. So if the guy is 5 feet tall, he is 5 feet in this passing pose. In other poses, he is or less or 5, or as in up pose, higher than 5 because he's going to be on the toes. So this one is supporting, and this one, green one, this one is now going forward. It's passing from back to forward. That's why we call this pose passing, right? And then final, this one comes here where the toes are on the ground. The heel starts to go up, and the character is the highest point. The body is stretched. Actually, you can curve it this way, and hips are the highest. This leg is straight, while this one, as it's coming forward towards this one, it's going from this passing one to this. So it's going to be somewhere from here to there in the middle, right? So this is up pose, the highest one. While all this happening, of course, the character has to shift the weight, and that's incredibly important because on the contact, if this is a contact, right? One leg is front in the contact with the ground, the other one is behind, and its toes are down. And it's in a perfect balance. There is a balance through his body, right? But as he's walking, he's shifting from the left leg to right leg. So when he goes on this leg, I'm going to draw it with different color now. So when this foot goes down, in order to lift this back foot and bring it forward, he has to shift his hips on this side and rotate a little bit in this manner. Actually, sorry, opposite what I'm talking about. He has to lift it so it's, you see, it goes on this side. Now I'm maybe exaggerating here so you can actually see between my scribbles. So, but the hips will move here and you to rotate that way. So the part of on the side of the hip that actually foot goes up, the hip goes down. So now this is passing, and in order to keep this head somewhere around this area, not to go left and right, right, we have to work on the spine to bring this character to the point where his head would be somewhere around this area where his head is when he's in perfect balance, right? And then the same thing happens on the other one, right? When these hips, I mean this passing pose, right, is on the right side, and this is extreme. So he's moving left and right. Left, right is from extreme to extreme, from passing pose to passing pose. So this is him being of the left leg, and then he's gonna go to right leg. That means he's gonna move on this side. His foot will be here, but he's gonna be over that leg, and this one will be now this one will be passing now. So you see, if this is a center of the body, this one is pushed on the left side, and now we have to work the spine this way, so the head will be again somewhere in this area. So it's not bobbing too much left and right. So this is incredibly important. If you don't understand weight shift, you cannot do proper walk. So I would definitely suggest that you go back and read more about poses. There are only actually 4 poses of the walk, right? You have a contact, you have down, you have passing and up. So as soon as you understand those poses and how to construct them, you can do really nice genetic walk. All right, so if he lands here, then on the very next down pose, this was supposed to shift here, and this is supposed to move, right? It cannot be on the same place as you're moving here, just like that, yes. So, but then you moved here, and then you left again foot as he's going up with the heel. His toes are staying on the same place. If he's on treadmill, there is no way that this will stay here. It will move back. It has to move all the time. So be careful with the weight, with the hips, because hips, as they are rotating this way, right, and that way, in order to lift this leg, and then in order to lift this leg, and this one being down, you will rotate this way. Also, you have to rotate. If let's say you are looking from the top, right? This is top view. You have to rotate it this way, because if his pelvis, right, is turned the way to accommodate this, for example, contact pose, where the front leg is completely forward and back one foot is there. In order for this to happen, this hip has to turn this way. And then for opposite, of course, it will move to the other side. And that has to happen all the time. And it seems to me that you know, like, you said, I don't feel that the hip is rotating. Here, I think, is rotating a bit. I'm looking at button on the pants. But now he's not rotating, it's on the same place. Again, I think it's on the same. I don't think you have rotation in hips. And also you need a rotation on the chest. I can see rotation here, that he is rotating, but I don't see rotation here, neither here. So please, I would definitely suggest to go and study more walks, right? Go and take a look if you have it on PDF, and you have to master it, because this is portfolio 5. If this is portfolio 4, I would still be kind of okay. You still have a time, but portfolio 5 now you shouldn't really think of how to make decent pose for the walk. Now we should start off thinking of what kind of walks we're gonna do, because different characters have a different kind of walks, and for different purposes we have different walks. If somebody is trying to steal somebody, he's gonna sneak. If somebody is nervous, he's gonna walk differently than somebody who is confident, or winner versus loser, walk completely different walks. So now we should try to maybe incorporate and make some walks, different kind of walks with the personalities. We shouldn't deal with the basic stuff, how to make simple walk anymore, because portfolio 5 is now a little bit higher than 4, right? So expectations are higher, man. All right, so basically this is it. I would like to see where you're gonna get from here. So that's much from here. Talk to you soon.